welcome to today's webinar on transforming your career from a safety officer to an environmental expert. My name is Shanker. I am the CEO and the academic director of Greenworld. Before I introduce you to my rest of my team members, I'll just give you a short description on what it is. So straight away, I'll go to the topic. I can see that there are many people who are still joining. Let me tell you that the same webinar is being recorded and this will be uploaded into our YouTube channel also, where you can watch this at a later stage. We'll be sharing the link to all the people once this is being uploaded. So particularly with regards to this particular webinar, we all know that in this today's rapidly evolving world, the role of professionals in ensuring both safety and environmental sustainability has never been more critical. So today we will explore the steps you can take to transition your career towards becoming a leading figure in the environmental expertise. So as a safety officer, we are well versed in mitigating the risk and ensuring workplace safety. However, with growing concerns about climate change, pollution, and resource depletion, the demand for professionals with environmental expertise is on the rise. So by expanding our skill set to include environmental knowledge, we can contribute significantly to addressing these global challenges. So in today's webinar, we will be talking about the dynamic and rewarding transition from safety officer to environmental expert. And safety officers actually bring a robust skill set to this new arena, particularly their foundational knowledge in risk assessment and management, which aligns seamlessly with the environmental concerns. So their regulatory savvy gained from a deep understanding of safety regulations becomes a strategic asset when tackling the complex terrain of environmental law and policies. So the work in environmental science is not only professionally gratifying, but also profoundly impactful. So it directly contributes to the conservation of our natural resources and betterment of planetary health. So given the dynamic nature of environmental science, it demands a commitment to continuous learning, keeping pace with novel technologies and ever-evolving regulations. So while this path is laden with opportunities, it comes with its fair share of hurdles, including the need for new certifications, assimilation to various or varying industry standards, and the possibility of further education. So these challenges, however, can be navigated successfully with IEMA's certification and membership, which provides the tools and support needed for this exciting career transition. So I'll just give you about a small glimpse of us. We are established in 2006 and we have solidified our position as the premier health and safety environmental training and consultancy service provider across Middle East, UK, Indian subcontinental, and definitely we have our office in Saudi Arabia also. So at Greenworld Group, we hold ourselves to the highest ethical standards with the values deeply rooted in integrity, honesty, and collaboration. So our reputation for delivering quality services is unmatched thanks to our team's expertise and unwavering dedication to maintaining high quality standards in health and safety training. And now let me go to IEMA. So IEMA, the Worldwide Alliance of Environmental and Sustainability Professionals, is dedicated to ensuring the future resilience of business and organizations. And through their global sustainability standards and strategic partnerships, they work tirelessly to enhance the understanding and adoption of essential skills. So their mission is clear: to safeguard the success and the viability of business in an ever-evolving world. So by driving the uptake of crucial skills and promoting sustainable practices, they are shaping the future of business sustainability and environmental stewardship, and they are paving the way for a more sustainable and prosperous future. So now let's go straight to the panelists. Welcome to today's webinar with insights and insights and innovations meet. We are honored to have with us Mr. Edward Brown, the Senior Training and Development Manager at IEMA, along with the esteemed Gagan Bihari Patnaik, General Manager and Head of ESG and Sustainability at the Refex Group, India. So their combined wealth of knowledge promises to enlighten us on the transformative journey from safety officer to environmental expert. And now let's look into their expert perspectives on sustainable career growth. Along with me, I have two other panelists also, Steffi George and Mr. Warren, who will be answering you on your regular questions and answers, if anything, that you post it over there. And please note that all the attendance certificate will be shared to you within 24 hours of finishing this particular webinar. Please note that you should attend the webinar 1 hour, then automatically the certificate will be dispatched to your registered email ID, which can be used for your CPD purpose. So thank you for joining, and over to you, Edward.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shanker. Firstly, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to your sort of customers, colleagues, and alike. It's really appreciated. Firstly, thank you as well to Mr. Gagan as well for taking the time. He's one of our chartered environmentalists, and I think for me, it's so impactful to have an individual that is leading in their work, a member of ours, hopefully benefiting from our services, so contributing towards the discussion. I think what's key for me initially is to actually start by giving an overview as to IEMA as well. Mr. Shanker has given a really good high-level overview, and I'm just going to jump into some of the details, just so you can appreciate the sort of where we're positioned. So if I can just start by moving on. So we are the world's leading professional institute for those operating in environmental and sustainability. So we have 22,000 professional members based in over 100 countries. Their roles can be HSE managers, heads of sustainability, ESG managers, biodiversity managers, waste managers, all of these sorts of individuals that have an element of environment responsibility within their role. And I think for me, what's so important about our standards and us is we represent the profession fully, because actually there is a need to have specialists within industry, but also there's also a need for individuals to keep their knowledge and skill sets broad so that they're able to move and adapt to the evolving and changing environment. So this is just a bit of an overview. So we work with our professional members, our affiliated members. We work with a lot of large global corporate organizations. The part of actually what I look after within the IEMA organization is our training and university partners. So I manage a network of 140 commercial training partners that are based in over 20 countries now. And what those commercial training partners are all about is skilling and giving professionals the right skills and capabilities in a sort of fashion that will allow them to be more impactful in their roles, develop their roles, and make them more attractive towards employers due to the in-demand skills that they have. And then the other part then that we work with governments and regulators. So a lot of the ISO committees standards, they will want to speak to us because actually we're the world's leading, most credible voice in terms of representing environmental professionals. So I guess we're the environmental equivalent of IOSH, if I were to draw a more sort of obvious parallel, given that this is a slightly more safety-orientated network of individuals on the call today. So just a very brief overview on our history. So we were formed in 1998 with a merger of a few organizations. And I think since then, we've really been growing our relevance, our work, and our impact through our members, ultimately. That's sort of where our work comes from. So again, I think we're relevant and important because of our members and our standards. Our standards offer our members, our professionals, our prospective training candidates it offers them an aspirational route to work towards and develop their skill sets and give themselves a framework to continually develop. And again, to maintain the right skills that employers are looking for and need. And I think for me, and if I talk maybe a little bit UK centric here, but I know there's a vast demand across business to really skill and improve that E element of HSE roles. Because employers are seeing there is only such a finite resource, and actually there is a whole host of individuals that, again, as Mr. Shanker was saying, they have the right skill sets, they have the right, they're visiting sites, they're auditing, they're inspecting, they're collecting data, they're doing all of those sorts of things that actually are really meaningful and impactful. So then, in terms of, again, keeping us relevant and useful for our members, we develop a lot of practice and guidance documents. So these will be around auditing, around circular economy, around climate adaptation, around carbon accounting, all of these sorts of areas that, again, individuals operating in the environment and sustainability remit need to know and be aware of. And I think, again, it's trying to keep our members at the front of the profession. So actually employers know and want IEMA members because they know they have access to good skills, good knowledge, and good content. And then in terms of our policy and advocacy work, again, we will be representing at COP, all these big sort of multinational events, again, given the sort of the size of our learner base and the size of our membership base. So we're going to touch on the training in a little bit more detail later, so I'll go into that then. In terms of our corporate partnerships, so a lot of our influence and impact actually comes from working with big corporate organizations. So we will work with, I don't know, Qatar Rail as an example. Actually working with an organization at a strategic head level actually allows them to understand and see the business benefits, the business improvements of implementing good environmental sustainability strategies. Because again, for me, we take a very business improvements, business focused, oriented approach to skilling individuals, because actually that makes the most compelling case then to the finance director or whoever that may be, because actually sort of morally it's the right thing to do, but also financially it's the right thing to do. And I think for me that is one of the most impactful cases then in terms of how we as a profession are moving and transforming industry. So again, this is just a brief touch on how we help our members. Again, with our members, we're putting on a lot of webinars as well. So it's about regional networking. We have our India groups, we have our MENA groups as well. We've also our UK-based groups as well. So it's around trying to connect those individuals and allow them to continue to be leading in terms of what they do. Again, I think for me, and this comes close to my heart in terms of the training function, it's our practice and our professional know-how that really does allow us to keep at the cutting edge of what's going on in industry. And again, hopefully we enable our members to be able to help address a lot of the complex issues within their businesses and their roles, and again, give them a more aspirational route to be able to start to skill themselves in new areas. So I think a lot of our training, it's about giving employers, giving business a really good benchmark and expectation of individuals so that actually an employer can comfortably specify a level of competence that they want of their individuals. So actually, if you're, I don't know, take BP as an example, if you're recruiting people in Oman, if you're recruiting people in Aberdeen, in Scotland, actually you can get the same quality or levels of knowledge within those individuals. So I think a lot of that, it's about trying to give those large organizations the baseline ability to train and skill people. And then I think in terms of our learner base, that works the other way. It's giving them a reason to do our course, and actually then having that course as a known standard, a known quantity that sits well on their CV and actually translates in the Middle East, translates in Europe, translates in India as a valuable, useful, known qualification. And then our university partner network is very different. So we work with University of Hong Kong, University of Oxford, Manchester, all of these really leading universities, but they're very sort of focused masters type programs. But it's just useful to sort of set the scene and actually allow you to see the various verticals and areas that we operate within. Again, a lot of our corporate work, I'm going to jump through this bit quite quickly because I think for me, the emphasis today is on the individuals and the skilling and individuals moving into the sort of HSE or focusing on the E element of their arena. So again, we're obviously a non-for-profit organization, so a lot of our surpluses will be used to invest in our member benefits. So that's having more policy people, creating more policy content for our members so that actually our members need to be more effective and impactful in terms of what they're there to do. Again, just giving a very brief overview now as to us in terms of our governance as well. And I think that is what has allowed us to be successful as an organization, having our professional standards committees that set our agenda, our standards and our approach, having our board of directors, and actually it's having our AGM for our members as well. So we're sort of very accessible as an organization in that respect as well. Just giving a little bit of a flavour of our sort of global reach, just to give a bit of an overview. I think the one that's relevant and pertinent for me is the bottom right, just so you can see really where a lot of our training partners are focused. So I think now if we move on to the green jobs and skills, and I think what's really key for me to come across today is actually these green jobs and skills, whilst the audience today is very safety oriented. For me, what's key is actually there is a whole raft of industries, a whole raft of professions that desperately are in need of green skills, and it will allow individuals to set themselves apart from the rest of the crowd further down the line. So just setting some terms and definitions, because I think for me, there's green skills and there's green jobs. So green skills is having the knowledge, the academic sort of understanding, behaviors and capabilities that actually individuals understand the broader space. It's actually, for me, green jobs is actually, it's the practical things, right? It could be building flood defenses, it could be installing electric chargers or whatever it might be. So these are the knowledge of environment is actually less, but the impact of what they're doing is significant. So I think for me, what we're here today is to focus on the green skills, because the people on the call are very much going to be the hopefully next sort of leaders within the environmental fields and actually need that broader academic-y sort of skill set so that they can help within the broader decision making within the business, be that on construction projects, manufacturing sites, or product development. So actually these sorts of more strategic business decisions are going to be even better thought through than they currently are. So I think what's fascinating for me as well is there's a real legislative drive going on across all countries as well. So obviously looking into this, net zero has committed to net zero India has committed to net zero by 2070. Gagan, please correct me if I'm wrong. No, I'll take that as a yes. So I think there's a...
I'm sorry, Edward, yes, we have pledged to be net zero by 2070.
Yeah, and so I think for me, it really emphasizes also the legal and structural changes that are happening within the environment as well. So you've got India declaring net zero by 2070. We need the professionals to support that and help business with that approach going forwards. So that's a very top level goal that we will all be working towards. but actually within that, there's far shorter term challenges. I've had the pleasure of going to India a few times. And actually I know within cities, there's big pollution challenges, but challenges that are affecting industry, that are affecting business, actually making business less productive because of the environment which they're having to operate in. So I think, again, within that, there's going to be an increasing recognition within business that actually not only is there 2070 goals, there's actually more regional goals, more targets locally to hit and achieve. So I think what I'm trying to really stress here is it's all very well us having targets, but actually if we don't have the right individuals, the right skilled capabilities across business to help and support meet those targets, it's going to be very challenging for individual or business to start to meet those. So yeah, that's going to be incredibly important to business achieving their targets. And I think for me, things like our foundation certificate and those sorts of courses really do get individuals thinking in the right sorts of ways so that actually they can start to make meaningful and impactful change. This is just a very brief slide on some of the sorts of environmental roles that are out there. Ironically, given the audience that is here today, I've spent a bit of time looking, and oh no, there is health and safety on there. I thought it wasn't there actually, but I've just seen it now for the first time. So it just gives a flavour of some of the roles that are out there that this sort of content, this knowledge that is so impactful for, and actually it will allow individuals to transition their careers into different areas and roles, depending on where their journey takes them. Again, I think I'm just trying to really get across the sorts of green jobs that are out there. I'm not going to touch on the HSE role because I actually think for me that's really obvious. There's all sorts of auditing that goes on. There's all sorts of site visits, inspections, legislation to follow. But actually, these are some of the other sorts of roles that are out there. And again, you often get a lot of split roles. I know in my experience, I've dealt with directors of finance and sustainability. So again, increasingly, the agenda is really ramping up and it's becoming increasingly relevant across a whole raft of roles. Again, we only need to look at Gagan in terms of his role as general manager and ESG. It's not just, so it really does show you the elevated importance of how a lot of business are starting to view this. Because for me, it's strategic, it's impactful, it's improving the bottom line. It's all of that stuff that business wants and is after. Not to mention, again, the right thing to do. And actually, those businesses that don't move and act will be left behind. So again, as organizations start to see that. So I think there's many different approaches that organizations or individuals will take on this as well. And this will be completely the same as the safety industry. And this actually, interestingly, my background is from the safety profession. And what I've really seen the safety industry do so well is actually skill and qualify and get individuals across the business engaged. So things like the IOSH managing safely is a really good way for getting safety embedded across managers across the business. For me, we have things like sustainability skills for managers, which is a great way to get managers across the business thinking in an environmental, sustainable type way as well. So I think that's the real benefit for me today of having individuals from the safety background, because I think they're more advanced in terms of as a profession and understanding that it is not just having the head of safety, it is actually how that organization is able to cascade that knowledge down across the business. And yeah, I mean, I guess you probably see that in your own experience. Is that a reasonable thing to say, Gagan?
Yeah, Edward, you are right. So before going into detailed discussion, let me introduce myself. Do you have any more slides, or you can at the end of the slides, then I will introduce myself and we will move.
No, sorry, there is some more slides, Gagan. It was just a quick, just your experience of actually, it's not just yourself as a sustainability lead. Actually, you're heavily reliant upon individuals across the business supporting you. Really, I think is the sort of the outcome of my point there.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gagan Patnaik, and first of all, I join Edward to thank Mr. Shanker and Green World Group for this opportunity to address all of you. And at the same time, we are also thankful to all of you for your interest to join us. Okay, coming to my academic background and professional career, I am a postgraduate in environmental engineering. With addition to that, I am also a chartered environmentalist and also full member from IEMA UK. I am also a lead AP for last 11 years. With addition to that, I have done a diploma from NYU Stone School of Sustainable Business. Just a minute, I think some lady here. Yeah. So yes, I have done a diploma in ESG analysis and assessment from IFAS. IFAS is known as European Federation of Financial Analysis Society, Germany, when I am also certified ESG analyst as well. And other than that, I am also Sustainability Excellence Professional from US Green Building Council in coordination with International Sustainability Professional Network of Sustainable Professionals, USA. Yes, I started my career day back in 2003, 2004 from the environmental consulting agency. Then over the period, I have worked almost everywhere in the Middle East, in India, few years in USA, and since 2017, I have been playing the role of the corporate leaders, especially with respect to sustainability and ESG domain. So it is very interesting to see when I started my career that time, environmental was picking up. People were looking into the environmental management field. And over that, over my career, so far I have seen from environmental into sustainability and now into the ESG. So this skill demand in the market and from the corporate is changing with respect to an evolving from various, earlier it was only environmental management with regulatory compliance and resource management. Later on, it came to sustainability, how you can make your organization future-proof with respect to resource, energy, and environmental friendly. Then again, it evolved into an ESG domain. If you see last 2 to 3 years, starting from the environment, then sustainability, and now ESG. If you see now the last year, the very focus in ESG, all of a sudden it came like a tsunami. Environmental, social governance. So people started looking in the market where the ESG experts are there. But at that time, 2-3 years back, there was a rush and there was a too much competition in the market to hire ESG professional, where the ESG professional was evolving that time, the skills were evolving. So few people were there in ESG sustainability field. But now I think, because of the transition of health and safety professionals slowly, gradually, from EHS to HSE to sustainability, and some people, mastering their skill into ESG domain. And now a little bit the market is in a balance or in an equilibrium stage. So what I can say, see this, the overall that hierarchy in an organization is that in company, most of the corporate, they don't hire a head for health and safety, one vertical position for sustainability, one head for ESG. No, it doesn't work in that way. So it is just like a pyramidal shape. At the apex, there should be one guy who should have competency and capability enough to manage the environmental part, as social part, where health and safety is very important and paramount, with addition to that developmental or corporate social responsibility. Then the governance aspect, where most of the people, they are not aware what exactly happening in the governance world. It is the way the company is governed and the role of the ESG head to develop strategy and policy in coordination with the HR, in coordination with that company secretary, in coordination with the accounts or finance. So to develop policy, to develop strategy, and the monitoring mechanism working with them. So this skill is a little bit required, higher hierarchy in your pyramid where we learn from our experience. As you take challenges in a company in a senior role, automatically we learn that part. So that is why if you see the career progression, how from started from quality in 1780s, I'm not right. The quality people, they were taking care of health and safety. Slowly the health and safety picked up and separate, there was a requirement for separate health and safety expert. Again in 19 and 2000 in between, I mean 1990 to 2000, there was a pickup for demand and pickup for the sustainability environmental professional. And now after the 2010 or 2000, starting from 2015, slowly that sustainability and ESG domain started. So this this overall the skill set and demand and competency demand is challenging and evolving. And as I see, if you can see before 3 years from my own experience, I can see. So there was a reluctance and hesitance to take health and safety professional into sustainability and ESG domain 2, 3, 4 years back. People say, no, we don't want health and safety professional, especially when it comes to the ESG or sustainability requirement. But now, little bit I can see that mindset has been changing. The reason, health and safety is very important for any of the organization to show performance excellence into the ESG domain or sustainability domain, keeping in mind. So that mindset is changing, but at the same time, coming to the skill set of any individual, we need to show your prominence in terms of environment and sustainability, in terms of health and safety, in terms of the social aspects, and as well as the governance aspect, little bit like the grievance mechanism, the policy, the strategy, how we'll implement, what exactly as a beginner or at each and every level of the organization, how you will implement if it's coming from the top-down approach. So this three aspects are very important. And if you anyone like a health and safety professional starting from career from health and safety, or an environmental professional starting from an environmental side, or a social or a developmental professional starting from the corporate social responsibility side, if you want to mature into a career and coming to the one umbrella which is called ESG, you need to master each and every skill. Okay, at the bottom of the pyramid, we can say you can be a social expert, you can be a health and expert, you can be an environmental expert. But if you want career progression and to lead an organization, you have to master each and every aspect of that skill set. Environmental, social, which is health and safety is very important on the social, and also the governance scale. This is what I have experienced in my career. And yes, that is all about it.
Good. Well, yeah, thank you for that introduction, Gagan. That's much appreciated. So, as I say, for me, it was really valuable to have you on the call today, just because actually you're living, breathing, practicing, deeply involved in whatever elements of this. So I think that gives it the most credibility that anyone can offer. So it just seems my slides are. So I think what's really interesting for me today as well is actually all businesses are switching on to this. So we've been involved with a joint publication with Deloitte. So again, Deloitte doesn't immediately, in my mind, spring to mind as a environmental sustainable focused organization. But again, we've created a green skills report, actually highlighting the need and demand for skilled, capable workforces. So actually we will I'll drop a link in the chat afterwards, unless Steffi is available too. But there's a free link and you can actually sign up and gain access to that green skills report. So I think it's really, really valuable for either yourselves as individuals, but actually even if you're trying to build the case within your business as well. I think this sets it out really well, really concisely, from obviously the leading professional organization, but actually I think outside of that then, very business focused finance firm. So I think it really sets out the need and the importance for that. So yeah, I'd strongly encourage downloading that if you're able to. This is our skills map. What I would say is actually our website is a lot better for this. So you can go and test out your skills and understand actually where you sit within that, and it will give you an idea as to your knowledge gaps. So the website's IEMA.net. If you then hit the membership area, you'll be able to test yourself and run through that. And I think it's a really good way of objectively identifying where your skills gaps are. Because again, I think for me, that's where you then identify, actually, this is my gap. And actually now this is where I can start to acquire the skills that I need to gain from a training partner potentially. So I think we've developed a Green Careers Hub. I think for us, it's really important to stress and emphasize actually the jobs that are out there and the diversity of jobs that need those green skills. So this is just a very quick video. I don't know if are you able to hear this?
Ensuring my children have a future. It's all about making a difference. Working with people who are passionate about helping the environment.
To protect the environment for future generations.
To make positive climate actions.
That's just a very brief video, but I think it's just a useful one. Oh. So again, I think the Green Careers Hub is really interesting because actually it gives a really good overview of the lots of different sorts of jobs that are out there and impactful, and it also just goes into a lot of the wordings and the terminologies and the sectors that are impacted by this. But we've got a really good case study coming up here now. Kathy McKay, who I know, as you'll see, she's a senior health environment safety leader. Obviously that's so let's we'll listen to Kathy's story and actually see what Kathy's got to say. So yeah, without further ado, I'll hit play, assuming you can all hear.
Key learning really for me throughout my career has been flexibility. It's been the thing that's provided the opportunity to grow. And so within the broader sustainability sector, being flexible and taking a range of different roles is a very valuable way of getting to where you might want to be. I've always been passionate about the planet. I think that then fueled my desire to ensure that that was protected and enhanced, while still having a passion for business. And so it was looking at how can I support harmony between the two, or as close to that as possible. How I got to where I wanted to be, which was a senior leader in a multinational organisation accountable for a very large number of environment and health and safety professionals, is I started small, focused predominantly on health and safety with a little bit of environment, and then took a series of different moves to different parts of the pharmaceutical business with increasing levels of responsibility. There's been an explosive growth and focus on sustainability professionals, and the expectations of them have grown massively in the recent years. So I formed Postspring, an organisation which is focused on how to develop and support the growth of leaders and professionals, and supporting them to be more equipped in the broader range of skills over and above their technical skills to deal with the expectations and demands of them in their roles. I think there are, in my mind, three key traits to be successful in a sustainability role. It's to ensure that you're flexible, you look at what opportunities may be available, and you take them when you can. You're authentic, you show up as you are, and you do your best work that way. And finally, you do something that you truly believe in, that you're passionate about. Progress on sustainability can't be fully reliant just on sustainability professionals. It requires a broader team. I like to think of it really that the sustainability professionals are like the conductor in an orchestra, so they set the tone and the direction. But without the full orchestra, and that in the context of the business world is greener in broader aspects of the business, then nothing is really achieved. So flexibility really is key to ensure you don't miss that great opportunity that might be hidden behind the guise and the name of the job. It's always valuable to look at the things that don't necessarily catch your eye straight away. It may be something quite fringe to what you're doing, but if you can see a connection and you can still be passionate about it, you'll never know what opportunity that might develop. and some softer skills you may acquire around working well with people, influencing people, or honing other skills which will enable you to be successful in the career you really want. In any role that you're in, if you've got a passion for sustainability, looking for ways by which you can bring in that element into your work and into your decision making and the influence you have on other people at work will make a fantastic difference as part of the collective effort.
So that's just a very short video case study from Kathy. I think for me, it really does just give a good overview as someone that is actually been in that sort of HSE space and actually has moved or been able to progress her career particularly well, because of actually have focus, understanding, and emphasis on sustainability within that. And again, I think here's another really good example of someone that's actually come from a dirty industry, right? Was a coal miner and has subsequently skilled and ultimately is environment compliance ESG manager now of a multinational organization on New York. So I think for me, having seen this individual transition from safety, health, and environment officer and actually then move into a pure ESG officer, I think it's testament to where the industry is going and the importance and the need of these skills. And this is not to say that everyone on this call should become the next ESG manager. It's more just having these right sort of skills and knowledge is a really good way to open up additional opportunities for yourself individually, but also additional opportunities for the business that you work for. So yeah, that's just a very just a couple of light examples, but I think it's just gives an idea as to where individuals are able to go with this sorts of knowledge. So yeah, you're able to visit the Green Careers Hub. We're starting to come to the end. It would be really useful now if obviously I'll happily take some questions at the end if there is any as well. But I think for me, Gagan, I've got some questions for you if that's all right. So I think obviously having run HSE teams, having been heavily involved with that I know at least with L&T in India and then also in the Middle East, what's your experience and where do you see the importance of having those skills within a safety team? How do you view the individuals that have got those capabilities?
Edward, it's a very good question. When I joined my career as an environmental expert in a consultancy, then I was dealing with mostly the regulatory requirement and that pollution control and resource management kind of stuff that time. Then I entered into the corporate world where I started my career as environmental engineer or senior environmental engineer or environmental officer, per se. And I started my journey with the EHS team or HSE team. See, because there is no separate department and function as environmental department or environmental function. So I started my career in a corporate world with EHSE and HSE department where my day-to-day responsibility was to look after the environmental aspects. But starting from there and working entirely, almost 14 years in HSE department, it brushed up my knowledge toward the health and safety. Although I'm not a health and safety expert, but I have developed the skill to know the know-how of health and safety management system. With addition to my core, strength as a health and as an environmental expert. Later on, when I matured in my career and I progressed, from an entry level, middle level, and now at the apex of an organization. So here now I manage the health and safety function as well. So several health and safety experts report to me. And I want to see, not only, I don't want from a health and safety aspect from them, I want that there should be a complete package with respect to environment, health and safety. So people may start their career as a health and safety expert with a core educational background from health and safety, or people start their career with a core educational background in environmental engineering or environmental management field. But as I said, in corporate world, they don't expect that we confine your skill into health and safety or environmental sector or social sector. So they want that it should be a package or combination where you can deliver the best from you with respect to health and safety management system is concerned, with respect to environmental management system is concerned, with respect to the social aspect where generally we look after the social projects. So when I manage the EHSE team, sometimes I find that some people of my team members, they are very good in health and safety. Because they come from the health and safety background. Some people are managing health and safety and they are they are coming from an environmental background. But I always mentor them in the sense that, okay, listen, I understand that you are coming from an academic background where your core strength is health and safety. You guys are coming from an environmental background where your core strength is environmental. But in a company, to survive and to progress in your career, we need to acquire the skill for health and safety as well as the environmental management. And that is the demand of the current situation. If you see, as I said, health and safety, there was a demand at the time of 70s, 80s or 90s. Then it came to environmental management field. Now it is ESG. So I don't see anything, a health and safety people, anything will hinder their tendency to learn to the environmental and sustainability skill or even the governance skill. So that it is always good, because if you are starting from health and safety background or environmental background and then combining E part into health and safety or health and safety to the E part of this one. So there is always advantage when I find a candidate who is very good in health and safety as well as in environmental background. So I prefer those kind of candidates especially because even I have to perform, I have to show the department overall the department performance. And in that way, okay, maybe sometimes we don't get a perfect candidate, but the meantime, when anyone joins me, if I see a strength and a strong desire to acquire the skill either in health and safety environment, and promote them through the various training we provide, external training, as well as the experience that they gain through the experience of the work or the exposure that I provide them, the task I assign them, and the mentoring that I did generally. So in that way, I always expect that people from health and safety, they acquire the skill of sustainability or environment through educational background or through external education and training, as well as the skill set that they acquire through the experience. That is what I expect. And they need to cope up very quickly. That, ma'am, if you have a tendency to learn quickly, definitely they are success. Whatever I've seen in my career. That is what.
I think it's really, really insightful. And I think for me, this is the bit that often excites me about environment sustainability as well is, and this is probably a little bit less professional development-y, but I think, have you got any, what's a good example for you of a significant financial saving that you've made for a business with your skills and expertise?
Yes. As I said, although I'm in sustainability and environmental expert, which is my post, and but my exposure to health and safety also helped me to manage that function in my current role, where I've been supervising and accountability with me to maintain the health and safety performance of the overall the group. We are a company where we have business interested, very, very diversified, starting from aviation, starting from pharma, starting from green mobility, solar EPC project, medical devices. So it's a very diversified company, and it is a big challenge at the group level, sitting at the apex, to see and manage each and every aspect, because the atmosphere is different, that business model is completely different from one vertical to another vertical. I'll just give one example where I can see that what value addition that we did as a team, not only I cannot say I only. So one of our business vertical, we call it RGML, Refex Green Mobility Limited, which is similar like the Ola and Uber, but we provide B2B service, business to business service, where we provide EV. We have a fleet of EV vehicles, EV cars, electrical vehicles, where we provide service to the employee commuting for different business. For example, TCS is our client, then this bank is our client, where they use our service for their employee transport to be environmental friendly, to be so their carbon footprint, in a reduction stage, or to reduce their carbon footprint, especially for the scope 3 emission. So when we started the business 2 years back, we faced a lot of accidents, plenty of accidents, and it affected our overall productivity because if there is an accident for any of our cab, it goes for the repair. The driver is standby for 4 or 5 days, even for the minor scratches. The car goes to the repair because it is under that what you can say that insurance claim, and then the car goes to the showroom or the service center, and the driver sit back, and there is a loss of our production and profitability in that one. So plenty of accident happened. Then all of a sudden the management assigned me task, no, just look into what is happening. In this way you cannot run the business. So what is happening? So the first and foremost what it did, we collected all the data, how the accident is happening. I mean, when it is happening, what time it is happening, what is the experience of the driver, for how many years he is behind the wheel. All this data we collected in a different parameters, and then we started analyzing the analytics, run the analytics now why it is happening the accident, because it is very, very important to run the analytics of your data. Now you know the importance of ESG or sustainability or health and safety data. And to our surprise, you found that 80% of the accident is happening while that cab driver is doing the return trip. That means there is no passenger inside the car. So what is reflected? Then we surprised to see why it is happening. Then we saw their behavioral aspects. This is happening because they feel that no one is looking at them. They are free to drive. Since the passenger is not there, take it easy. So they take it easy, right? Over speeding and harsh driving, rash driving, all resulted in accidents. They are least bothered about that. Okay, accident happened. I will get my salary at the end of the day. So after finding this, we started implementing what to do next. Then we started working on training and awareness, especially the BBS training. I'm also certified BBS trainer from District Safety Council. We developed certain training program with the defensive driving, especially keeping in mind about the drivers. Then also we introduced penalty system and award program. And at the same time, we integrated technology. We have an application apps where the drivers generally they enter their trips details and everything. I mean about the trip detail, the kilometer, this. But at the same application, we introduce AI into that one so that we can track the driver when they are speeding up, when they are doing harsh braking, when there is sudden left-right turn, and we identified the risky drivers based on that AI application into the apps or that we manage through our overall that business. And we identified the risky drivers, then we provided them training, then we introduced the award program, then we introduced the penalty system, we introduced the defensive driving training, we introduced that BBS behavioral based safety training, and it resulted in 80% decrease in our accident frequency rate within 4 months. The results showed immediately, and that cost saving was almost 15% in that overall. So this is a great experience which I have implemented personally. So if I say no, I don't know health and safety, but no one will listen because I am the overall accountability with me. So in that way, I took support by my team members who are the health and safety veteran, health and safety professional. And in management perspective, I took the buy-in from the management to introduce all those initiatives and the expenses that will go for the training, awareness, award. So it resulted in then at 3 and after the end of 3 and 4 months, I can show them what progress and cost saving is there throughout the course. So that is what we achieved, and I feel proud for that.
I think that's a great example, Gagan. And if I wasn't expecting you to bring safety into that. To me, to be honest with you, it's really interesting how you've yeah, I mean that example perfectly typifies the synergy of the professions and actually how you can do something beneficial for the environment, but also improve safety or vice versa, I should say. So it's yeah, that's really good. And then I think for me, I'm sort of coming close to an end in terms of my questions. But I think it would just be finally really good for me to get because again, this is the benefit of us having members and working with businesses throughout the world and being able to benefit from the skills and insights of yourself, and Greenworld is another example. But actually, how's the environment sustainability profession changing within the Indian markets? I know within the UK, it's absolutely booming at the moment. Sustainability professionals are doing incredibly well. They're in demand across a whole array of sectors. So is that same trend happening in India at the moment, or what's the lay of the land there?
Yeah, Edward, you rightly said, no, even in India also struggling to cope up with the demand for the especially environmental sustainability or overall ESG. I can say not environmental sustainability, it will be the
Yeah.
right term. But sustainability and ESG profession, there is a high demand, especially in between that 5 to 10 years experience skill. Okay, and top management level, yes, there is a demand, but at the same time, they don't expect that a person will have 15 to 20 years experience in sustainability or ESG domain because that field is changing recently. There is a focus there. So when it comes, there is a gap in between the demand and the supply in India as well. And 2-3 years, as I said, the companies 2-3 years back, the companies were very reluctant to accept health and safety professionals as the sustainability and ESG requirement for their own requirement. But what I have seen in the last 2-3 years, no, slowly they are accepting a health and safety professional, provided that they have the required skill set, either from their experience, training, or education. In India, generally they prefer you should have a sound educational background, although health and safety, but same time you can acquire that through distance education mode or through part-time or through a blending kind of course, hybrid course, that whether they have acquired that sustainability skill, because it is a plus point. So health and safety professionals should understand that their competency in health safety is not a deterrent to go toward the sustainability or ESG domain. It is a plus skill. But at the same time, you need to acquire the skill set that is required for sustainability and ESG domain through external education, training, and experience. And what I see within 1 or 2 next year, no, when most of the people, what I say, the transformation is happening through their skill set and they're acquiring knowledge through education, through training, through exposure. And within 2-3 years time, probably, everyone will get an opportunity to work in the ESG domain, because as part in some of the companies, the social aspect is, although ESG, if you say 33%, if you share that responsibility within the ESG, then coming to the S part, social part, I can say some of the company within the 33% is 70-80%, because health and safety is very paramount to some of the organizations, like process organization where an industrial manufacturing environment where health and safety is very important. Same way in construction industry, as you know, health and safety is very important. That is why if you have a background in health and safety and you have acquired the skill of sustainability and governance, then I believe you will be the winner. What I see. Only thing is you need to have the mastery and acquire the skill set through education, through training, and through exposure.
Well, yeah, thank you ever so much for that response as well, Gagan. And obviously, I think part of the reason we're here today is obviously we formally set up with Greenworld, and obviously Greenworld will be offering some of our courses that will hopefully start to bridge those gaps and allow that next generation of safety HSE type officers getting the professional skills that they need to be able to develop themselves in their roles and their careers and their futures, really. For myself, I would like to thank everyone for joining and listening to what I've had to say today. It's been really humbling to be given the opportunity to speak about us as a professional institution and how we can hopefully help individuals with their careers. But yeah, I'm not sure if I was handing over back to Mr. Shanker Steffi or if.
Yeah, before that, Mr. Shanker, when coming to here, I can say to all the participants, if you need any additional help from me, especially with respect to education, with respect to guidance, you can reach me through my email ID, which I will type here, and I will be happy to provide you guidance on that one. which I always do. Mentoring is very keen to my heart, and I always do that one. So I'll be very happy to help you out in any of your queries or concerns. And please feel free for this. Add my email address here. So I think I don't have that rights to reply to everyone, but I'm just posting it to Edward so that he can populate my email ID to everyone, and I will be reachable at that. And Varun and Mr. Shankar, if any query is there related directly, I mean, for me, please pass it to me so that I will answer directly.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone, very good evening. My name is Varun and I'm the senior consultant and trainer here with Greenworld Group. So first of all, thank you, Mr. Edward and Mr. Patnaik. This session was really mind-blowing. You can see it down in the questions. Everyone was, going on about how helpful and great this session is. Thank you so much. You did, elaborate on the different environmental roles and, green jobs, which I think will be a very good takeaway for candidates here. There's just a few questions, I saw from our candidates, which I thought, the ones which I thought will be very good to, highlight here, the most repeating ones. The first one would be, recently we had the COPs 28, right, in the UAE. And can you tell us a few points, talking points regarding environment, the companies, the commitments that they said they would meet in this particular meet that we had successfully completed in the UAE?
Yeah, so I think certainly some of our stance and our representation was about the need for green skills, competencies within business. I think that's obviously a key point for us. And a lot of what we're about is also the continuing and monitoring of pledges and commitments that organizations are making as well. Obviously, it's all very well organizations making commitments to net zero, but actually there's a lot of looking into the long term of that. Obviously, that is led by our policy team, which is a slightly separate area of the business. So what I will say, Varun, is I will dig out a little bit more information on that, and perhaps that's able to be circulated at a later point.
That's good. Thank you. So talking about, the future of jobs regarding, environmental safety and all that in the coming 2-3 years, can you give us an idea of, how the growth would be for people pursuing these courses?
I must admit, so my experience of jobs market is a bit UK, Middle Eastern biased, to be completely honest with you. So I think we're lucky that Gagan is here to be able to talk about it from a sort of a localized perspective. But I know if I just look at the growth in our learner base in the Middle East, in the UK, the growth is exponential at the moment. And if you look at a lot of what jobs are asking for, they want to see green skills, they want to see competencies, capabilities of individuals. Again, I will stress, and actually I popped the link into the chat, Steffi, as well. So if you're able to, that green skills Deloitte report will do a really, really good job of emphasizing the demand and the growth within the jobs market. So please do take the time to download that, because I think for the sake of 30 seconds and a 5-10 minute read, I think you will get all of the information and insight that you would need and want to be able to make an informed decision on that.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Edward. Okay. So, yeah, I think these were the most repeated questions that we had throughout the sessions. So thank you so much for your time again. And Ms. Patnaik, thank you for your valuable words that, I think will be very helpful for most of the candidates who are here. So I would like to, conclude this particular session. If you have anything to add on, you can say. Otherwise, thank you to all the participants for your patience. And it was said at the beginning, and for people who came a little later, The certificates for your session will, be dispatched within 24 hours to your respective registered mail IDs. Okay, so just be a little bit patient with that. And you should have had a minimum attendance of at least 45 minutes for you to receive the certificates. Okay, so thank you once again. And with this, I would like to conclude the session. If you have any other queries, any other doubts, you can always call up any one of our nearest GWG offices that we have, across India, UAE, Saudi Arabia. Okay, you can just call them up, or you can mail or message any one of our offices. People will be happy to respond to you over there. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Okay, and have a nice evening. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Good evening to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.